The housing emergency currently affects 17.5 million people in the UK, from rough sleeping to temporary or dangerous accommodation. It goes beyond the streets, and the link between the housing emergency and addiction, mental health, and overall lack of quality of life is high.
I was in accommodation, but it was very insecure because I was dressing up. It was quite intimidating.
I became homeless in 2013. The worst 6 months of my life. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It was terrible.
I was ill, very, very ill. I'd actually had a psychosis episode. I was being followed by staff 24/7.
I ended up going to a treatment centre after losing my house, my kids, my dog. I tried to take my own life.
With the homelessness and mental health crisis on the rise, is it right to prioritise the arts? I'm Jasmine Franks. I'm an actor, and I spent 8 years as a character in Hollyoaks, a British soap. I've since been working with a family-run charity who provide acting workshops for marginalised people in Manchester.
I've not cast it yet.
This year, I'll be running the workshops and creating our very own soap-style short film. However, on the first session, there was some unexpected, devastating news for the group.
Which brings me to my final point, which is this will be the last season for Acting on Impulse. Acting on Impulse is going to come to an end at the end of this year.
Is that the classes gone?
That will be the end of these classes. It'll be the end of film projects that we've been doing for 17 years.
That's a right body blow.
Yeah.
So you were made to try us?
It was a body blow. It knocked me for 6, a right bombshell. I did not expect that at all.
To be honest, not believing it yet because it was so out of the blue. I think I'm still a bit in shock, actually. Yeah, as well. Because this is very important, not only for me, but for a lot of people.
It's like a kick in the guts.
But yeah, so... should we do a little warm-up? Something to get us going? Boost the energy?
So the day we told the guys that it was going to be the last one, it was really tough because it's just always been a given that it's happening again. To suddenly say that won't be happening, I think it took a while to be registered. I think people didn't quite know what we meant, and it was like, yeah, no, it's actually coming to an end.
I didn't expect it to last 17 years. In fact, we thought it would only be a one-year project.
At the very beginning, the film that we first ever did was very much written with a narrative about homeless people, and we wanted people who had that experience to come and tell that story. That first day, that sort of nerve-wracking feeling of anyone will even come, at that point there was quite a few people who were sleeping rough, maybe still on the cusp of addiction. But the minute they arrived, they very much were a company of actors.
In 2007, there was a movement called Hope 08, where in the year 2008, churches across the country were challenged to use acts of kindness, really, to make a difference in their towns, their cities and their villages. And our church, Altrincham Baptist Church, agreed that we would be the project. They gave us our first tranche of money to run a workshop. Our first actors were folks who gathered around the vans.
My journey began with Act on Impulse 17 years ago. I was running a charity called City Centre Ministries, which was an outreach to the homeless. We were able to give out drinks and sandwiches. And we parked in the red light area of Manchester, and so we had lots of working girls coming and also lots of homeless guys. I was approached by Lauren, and she asked me if I could get involved, really by just inviting guys to come along to the workshops. We met lots and lots of people. One person in particular is Ricky Scott. A relationship broke down in his life.
I've become homeless and I went to the soup van in Store Street.
He was not in a good place. So I said to him at the end of the night, I said, "Do you like acting?"
I said, "I've never done acting."
"Come along on Sunday."
I said, "I'll come along and try it." And I never looked back.
And I've seen him blossom, I really have. I've seen his confidence grow.
The magic of the very first film stays with me 17 years later.
The first ever premiere we had for Humanitas, which was all based around the red heart button and became the emblem for the charity.
To see that film just come to life and all the actors, just amazing performances, was incredible.
It was just the most electrifying moment. The guys were welling up, they were beaming, they were taking their bow. It was, you know, a moment where we realised, you know, we've just made something really special here.
Suddenly we were a charity with all the responsibilities that involved.
We had not a clue.
And from then, it feels like it took a bit of a life of its own.
We learned so much. I remember one workshop, we focused very much on what it was like to be homeless, and Lauren took the guys out on the streets and they showed her, especially one particular actor who had been homeless on and off a lot, how to make a bed out of cardboard boxes under the arches.
Agencies would be referring us for their clients because they saw it as an activity that would be helpful for them. And with my parents being retired, they got more and more stuck in and ended up, you know, taking over their lives effectively.
There's no doubt that the ending of Acting on Impulse was going to have an immense impact on the actors, but we still had a final film to make. The workshops have run every other Sunday since 2007. And it's here that the magic happens. Ideas are shared, characters developed, and the script created.
So I want to split people into 3 groups today. So there's going to be bigger groups because you're going to improv the end scene.
They create characters themselves through improvisations, they do the storyline.
So if I just pointed at you, go over into this corner.
You get that mix of the people who came the year before, arriving through the door with that bit of confidence, and then someone new. And that new person will always come with a sense of shyness, often acute anxiety, perhaps. They might not come back the following week, and then they might come back a few weeks later, and we're always delighted when that happens, that they've you know, come back. We know it's probably taken a lot for them.
Seeing their commitment and their enjoyment grow, seeing them make friends, then seeing them read their first script, which has been written for them with the words that they've said in the workshops.
They've come regularly, they've made an effort to get there on time, and it has had a real positive impact on their lives.
Deborah, or as I like to call her, our Debs, who is playing the landlady in this year's film, has been coming to Acting on Impulse for 9 years. But her journey hasn't been an easy one.
I don't know the day that I crossed the line of daily drinking, but it happened when I was 14. My brother took his own life, and I found him. These days you would have had therapy or something like that, but there was none of that. It was about 4 months later when I went to the youth club and I found something that we call alcohol. And that's the day when alcohol met the alcoholic. The lower you get becomes the norm. I was 47 years old then at the time. I was drinking in the cemetery. My children were witnessing this. So when I'm sitting with my teeth bleeding and my hair falling out and with a shopping trolley, you know, and smelling, that wasn't the lowest I ever got. I went to court for being violent. A judge said, Mrs. Leach, I'm going to give you a 5-year prison sentence. And he gave me a 5-year prison sentence, but I'm going to defer it and I'm going to put you on an alcohol course. There's some crossroads in your life that are put there and you can choose which path to go down, you know what I mean? One day I seen leaflet and it was called Acting on Impulse, and somebody said, would you like to do a bit of this? And I went, I'll have some of that, yeah. And I was 37 days sober then when I made the first film, and every time I wrote down in my calendar AOI, which is Acting on Impulse, every second Sunday, and it said AOI, I thought, I am not dropping the ball and going drinking. There's no way.
The realisation that the actors themselves were dependent on what we were doing, that became a real driver for me anyway.
Deborah has now been sober for 9 years. She's even able to confidently film on set in a real pub.
Over the years, we've got to know a lot about providers of services for homeless people, not literally homeless, but people who go to day centres because that's their social club. And then there's a wider scene, for example, there's Streetwise Opera, that operates all over the country in different centres.
I'm Matt Peacock, and I'm the co-director, one of the co-directors of Arts and Homelessness International, which is a global network of arts and homelessness around the world. We found through a literature review that we did in 2019, people who were taking part in arts projects who had the experience of homelessness, and those were mental and physical well-being. Most of the projects increased those things.
It's always an underfunded area. The huge gap that's there is often plugged by volunteers. Unfortunately, something like Acting on Impulse could be seen as a bit of a luxury. You know, it's acting workshops and it's something that's purely about well-being and skills.
The arts can be something that can make a massive difference to the your sense of identity and pride in a life which can just be a roller coaster of, you know, chaos and pain. A lot of smaller charities by nature are so valuable because they're at the grassroots, they're on the front line of this work. They have one-to-one relationships with all of the projects, and that takes time, it takes care. I've seen how Acting on Impulse really does all the detail so carefully and with so much love and dedication.
And what's not good about it is when you go to the workshops, you're meeting other people who've got similar problems or other problems, so it's nice because it's like you hang up your whatever's going on and you do your acting and you have a laugh.
Claire was referred to Acting on Impulse by Back on Track, an agency that enables people to make positive changes centred around learning. Claire has faced some challenges that meant she almost couldn't return for the final year.
I finished up last year. Between that and the new workshops, I had to stay in hospital. I'd actually had a psychosis episode, kind of horrible, but needed. Sue came to visit me while I was in hospital. That was nice. It was really special to have that visit. It made you see how people care for you. And I was determined I was going to get out and do the film. I'd worked so hard to do it, and I did. And it was amazing doing it. I mean, I didn't like playing the games, so I was a little bit like, oh, they were a bit embarrassed. I don't like doing them. But I have done it, which I'm glad now. They could be hard at times. A lot of concentration. My main challenge in life is to stay away from the mental health hospitals, get myself better, just stay off the drinking and the drugs, and just be there for my grandson and my son.
I've seen firsthand all the work that goes on behind the scenes to keep the charity going and manage the workshops through to the final film. In recent years, Sue and David have shouldered even more of the responsibilities. The film shoot itself is an enormous undertaking, requiring more dedication from the team of volunteers and crew who make it happen. But will the actors be ready? For now, it's over to Dan, the director, to make the magic happen.
The film shoot usually takes 3 to 4 days over a weekend, and the first sort of couple of nights, I think myself and probably others in the key team, you end up with sleepless nights in anticipation.
From the actor's point of view, they don't expect to be treated like a professional actor when they turn up on set. First of all, they have to go to costume, as the costume department, then they have to go to makeup and be made up. But then they're in front of the cameras. By the final take, they feel totally confident in what they're doing. They have no idea who all these people are.
I mean, sometimes when we've been filming, we have laughed so much. And the skills I've learned here, I've been able to transfer into my normal life.
We've always had something like 25 crew who have all been in the profession.
You wouldn't believe that we was a group of marginalised people. We've been given a forum where we can all just be ourselves, you know. It's absolutely priceless.
You know, we have had times, of course, where someone's had to drop out or they might have just disappeared and we don't know what's happened.
This year, one of the key cast didn't turn up on the actual day of shooting. The team had to think fast or the whole film would be in jeopardy. And after all the months of hard work, the solution was priceless.
One of our main actors, who was in most of the scenes this morning, just didn't turn up. So I was asked to substitute, which is not something I was anticipating. Although there weren't many lines, it was quite a challenging role. The amazing thing is that I will get to say the very last line in this film.
The last line in the film, and for acting on impulse.
You learn new skills, you become more confident. You know that there's other people that have had similar situations like drinking, mental health, homelessness, and when you see how they can get through it, you get a better understanding and realise you can get through it as well.
It was mixed emotions on the last ever day of filming. This was the final wrap.
It's not just a wrap on the shoot either, as you all know. For my dad and my mum and me, this has been a massive part of our lives for years. For years. The actors, past and present, have changed our lives. It's been 17 years of absolute pleasure. You're all amazing. And yes, for Acting on Impulse, it is a wrap.
An emotional moment, but there's still the anticipation of the premiere.
The premiere is the highlight, really, of the Acting on Impulse year. The buzz is huge because there are members of the public there who are dressed up and looking forward to a proper outing, ushered upstairs where there is a red carpet.
And the atmosphere in the auditorium is amazing. And then the spontaneous applause that we've seen, and even standing ovations.
Seeing myself on the screen was really, really good.
I remember seeing myself on big screen for the first time and I went, oh my God, that's me. I know what I'm doing.
It's been really rewarding doing this as a family, working together.
Been remarkable. People going on to university, people finding jobs, people just finding new confidence in their lives.
We've got to know so many people. We're like family. I think the actors will have a bit of a void on their Sunday afternoons. I think they will miss that enormously.
I will definitely miss it.
To see the development of the actors, I really love our films. They give me such pleasure to watch. I think we've decided we're going to spend our retirement with our feet up on the table and a cup of tea, watching reruns of all our films over the last 17 years. That'll take some time. 73
of them.
I would have been absolutely lost without the 20, 30, 40 people, maybe more, that I have met. We were like the missing pieces of a jigsaw. We all gelled together. Don't get that very often, you know, and I will take it to the grave. It's the most wonderful thing I've ever done.
I've had 11 years of this and I've loved every minute of it.
It's not an over-exaggeration to say changing lives, saving lives.
It's made a huge difference to my life. These people who run it have been amazing because we're at the fringes of society, and at the moment, the people on the fringes are the people that are suffering the most.
There's a sense of guilt because it means so much to the guys, and there just isn't anything else that's going to quite fill that gap.
Not only is it a human right, it's Article 27 of the Charter of Human Rights, and we all have a right to access culture and creativity.
Although it's coming to an end, which is really, really sad, it served an amazing purpose.
Every human being has something to contribute. They have gifts and abilities and skills, which, if you give them the right environment, they can demonstrate.
I think from all this, the message to me is the importance of believing in people, just helping people to feel, we believe in you, you can do this, in all walks of life. That is just so important.
Over the years, Acting on Impulse have worked with over 500 actors. For me, personally, it's been a real privilege to witness the commitment and talent shown by everyone involved. There's no doubt that this has been a positive experience for all the amazing actors. For now, that really is a wrap.
Yeah, thanks ever so much. Bye.